Okay, welcome to a brand spanking new segment, literally, because I just thought it up as I was leaving the house this morning, and I'm going to call this segment Drive Home Reviews is All Elite, where I will take a look at the Dynamite, AEW Dynamite from the previous evening, and give my thoughts on the larger segments. I figure I'm already one of the lowest watched movie reviewers on YouTube. Let's see if I can be one of the lowest watched wrestling reviewers too. I'd love to have both of those titles. So let's just jump right in. The big thing coming out of last night's Dynamite is the 3-minute championship match where Jon Moxley unified the world title and interim world title to become the undisputed AEW champion over CM Punk. From what I understand, from what I've heard, that this is a work. Punk wasn't really injured. First off, I guess if you didn't see it, they do the whole thing. They come out. They had moved the championship match from the pay-per-view to last night in the previous week's Dynamite. So you had like a week build, and it was a big surprise to everybody. It was like, wait, what? We're doing this now? So they come out last night. They started off early on. Punk does a spin kick to the head and then drops to his leg, clutching his ankle. Ironically, it was not the ankle that actually hit Moxley. It was the one he was pivoting on. And Moxley took advantage. Boom, boom, boom. And then, less than 3 minutes, he was the champion. And this left a lot of people. They were in Ohio, which was Moxley's hometown, so they went ape shit. But there's like 3 dudes sitting in the front row, and there's that's who I was with, and I think a lot of people were. I'm a big AEW fan, and when it comes to AEW, I kind of start taking the same approach I take when I go see a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and there's an aspect of that I didn't like or didn't feel like was explored enough. AEW prides itself on long-term booking and long-term storytelling. And there are times when you see something happen and you don't necessarily agree with it, but then a few months, even a year down the road, you see that it was a vital piece in a much larger puzzle. So I'm always willing to give AEW the benefit of the doubt. But I'm going to say I think that there's only one reason I can think of that this would not have been a stupid move to have this match end this way, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. The rumor I'm hearing is that they're going to set it up for a rematch in Chicago at the pay-per-view. And my question being, why did you need to do this? And I've heard they want to make sure they keep Moxley strong. Moxley is already strong. He's one of the best booked guys there. He rarely loses, and when he does, there are mostly shenanigans involved, or it proves that the guy is out and out tough because they can hang with him. I don't think Moxley needs to be protected. He lost to Kenny Omega twice in weird circumstances, both times, and he's still one of their strongest wrestlers. So this idea that you needed to do this in order for him to stay strong, that makes no sense to me. And you didn't need to do that to build to a pay-per-view. The only reason I would say that this move would make sense if it came out that Punk was still hurt, that he was still his injury was worse than they had thought, and it's taking him longer to recover, and they didn't want to do the interim world champion thing for that period of time, and so they said, okay, let's just go out there, we'll do it on free TV as opposed to doing it at the pay-per-view, so we're not cheating people paying $50 for the pay-per-view out of a real title match. We'll do it in front of this, yes, the people in attendance got a bit cheated, but it generally evens out. So we'll go out there, do the quick match, keep the moves simple. We'll write you off, let you heal up, and then you can come back and we can build back up to something else then. If that's the case, then I'm all fine with it. That makes sense to me. It's like, okay, yes, it sucks, but you've got to protect the performer. Better that than having him work hurt and having him worsen the injury. I don't know if that's the case. From what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like that's the case. But if that's the case, then I'll forgive all of it. It makes sense if that's the case. If it's not, then I think that this was a dumb move. And I'm an AEW fan, but I firmly believe that real fandom means that you can call something out when it doesn't work. And if it comes out that he's really hurt or hurt worse than he thought he was, I'll say, okay, cool, we can live with that. If not, then yeah, this was stupid and just kind of a big screw you to everybody. And quite frankly, I would expect better from AEW. Some other notable things on the card last night. It opened up with a promo segment, which is weird. They usually don't do that, but it's Chris Jericho talking to Daniel Garcia. Are you with me? Are you against me? Then Daniel Bryan comes out. They're really trying to build Daniel Garcia up. They've been trying to build him up since he arrived. And I think trying to have him go with the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be the way to do that. Going with Jericho got his name out there, but going with them is going to toughen him up and give him legitimacy in the eyes of the fans if they really want him to be a future player. And I think the overall segment and storyline works, but do not give Garcia the mic at this stage. He sounds like a petulant child. Leave me alone! I can't make this decision right now. Leave me alone! The guy might have great mic skills, but that right at that point, that was not it. And so yeah. I guess the other thing to mention, I've complained a lot, but let's talk about something awesome as we kind of wrap up here. The main event, Trios Tag Team Championship Tournament, that's a mouthful. Death Triangle versus United Empire, Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. Awesome. Just awesome. Just, yeah. The timing was a little bit off in some parts. It looked a little sloppy and not as crisp as you would expect from any of these guys. But on the whole, it was a match that you couldn't tear your eyes away from. It was so good and so fast-paced and entertaining. I don't care what anybody says. I love matches like that. Spot fest matches are a lot of fun. And these guys, all of them, delivered. And next week, it'll be Will Ospreay and Aussie Open against the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who, let's face it, they're going to win this tournament. That's, if you don't think that, or you don't know that. Of course, to be fair, I said the same thing about the Young Bucks during their very first tag team championship tournament, and they got eliminated in the first round. So, so I could be 100% wrong on that. But whatever the case, overall, the episode of Dynamite wasn't the epic showdown they hyped, but again, willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Some weird segments, but that main event made up for just about everything. That was freaking awesome. So there you have it. Maybe as I go on, if I want to keep doing these, I'll do grades for the entire show, or I'll try to get more elaborate. But I think a quick little summary of the major spots of the show is all we really need, especially since there are so many wrestling content creators out there. But I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and as always, drive safe, and I will see you at the matches. I have to come up with a better sign-off for this one.